Hi, this is Anthony. Welcome back to my show. So, as I mentioned recently, I finally figured out how to create a poll on my channel. Obviously, people seem to be able to find it because I've gotten 130 people voting on the first one that I uploaded. If you haven't seen it, you can probably find it clicking on the community tab on my YouTube homepage. So, if you go there, you'll see that I've listed it as Sympathy for the Devil, as Mike Rinder redeemed himself from his history with OSA. And over the last day and a half or so, 130 people have responded, and it turns out at this point, exactly 25% of the people say yes, Mike has redeemed himself, and the other 75% say that he has not. I know that a lot of people don't like Mike Rinder and are very vocal about it in the comments, and they tend to be supporters of Aaron's and the recent departure of Smith-Levin from the Aftermath Foundation. But of course, nobody seems to be complaining about Mike until about 3 weeks ago. So that's something to think about. If he's so bad, why didn't anybody notice it for the past 18 or so years? I think for many of us older people who have never been in Scientology, they may have first encountered Mike in his encounters with John Sweeney in the media. And of course, that's just the public face that you see of Mike's work. All his behind-the-scenes OSA dirty tricks are much murkier. But what of Mike 20 or 30 years ago? Quite frankly, I think that Mike's behavior was absolutely atrocious. But I think his work with the Aftermath Foundation and other organizations has served to redeem himself vis-a-vis the terrible things that he used to do on orders of David Miscavige. He may have been a spy master, perhaps a ruthless spy master, but I don't know if he was truly evil. This is a cult that he grew up in from about the time that he was 5 years old. People in such a high-demand cult do not always understand the severity of their actions the way that people in the outside world might. They often genuinely believe that they are fighting for the right things, and whatever it takes to fight their enemies is justified. I know that a lot of people think that he has slid back into his old OSA ways. I disagree with that contention, and many people have agreed with me, although most don't. And just briefly, I'll say that being on the board of a nonprofit, a board where you don't get any money, all of your headaches come from the Church of Scientology, and in this case, evidently, a few headaches from Aaron Smith-Levin. I believe that the board of directors did what they felt like they needed to do to deal with Aaron's escalating chain of poor decisions. Getting rid of Aaron doesn't profit anybody monetarily on the board. Getting rid of Aaron doesn't give anybody, especially Mike Rinder, any more power on the board now that Aaron's gone. No matter what remarks Mike may have muttered, even if they were a bit snide, I doubt that Mike was all that jealous of Aaron Smith-Levin and his success on YouTube. Sure, Aaron Smith-Levin has many followers on his channel. Probably he has more subscribers than everyone else put together. I haven't checked that, but that could well be true. He probably makes a lot of money from AdSense from his videos on YouTube. He's probably raised more money than anyone else for the Aftermath Foundation, but of course that money goes to the foundation, not to the person raising it. Mike has a book out. I don't know how much he's made from it, but he's gotten an advance and perhaps some royalties from it. I doubt that the income from his blog or videos is too substantial, but it might be. But he's still working with Leah Remini on their joint YouTube channel, and he likely made a good amount from Scientology and the Aftermath when it was on TV. So I don't think that his actions in the last few months on the Aftermath Foundation board had anything to do with the power grab concerning finances or anything like that, or just reverting to being an authoritarian person. The board had to deal with a problematic member, and sometimes getting rid of those goes better than other times. Most organizations that have to get rid of somebody whom they consider to be problematic usually are able to do so under the radar, and very few people have any idea what's going on outside of the board. Because these people in question are all YouTube personalities now, it's hard, or it's had to play out between the different factions on YouTube, as well as amongst all of us, myself included, discussing the situation from different points of view. Anyway, I personally think that Mike Rinder has redeemed himself, but I understand that not all people will agree with me, and I understand that if you're someone who was in Scientology, and perhaps you've left, and you have encountered the bad side of Mike, either face to face or as a result of other actions, perhaps by other people on the orders of Mike, which I think we can all agree originated with David Miscavige, then I can understand how you might not be able to forgive him or choose not to. If I had been in that situation, I may well choose not to forgive Mike. Again, whatever your thoughts are, I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to get people, especially those who have never been in Scientology, to try to understand the motivations, the true motivations of the board members before one just assumes that they were reverting back to old Scientology methods in dealing with people, in particular Aaron Smith-Levin. If you disagree with me, or even if you are part of the 25% that agree with me, I would love to hear from you. You're welcome to leave a few words in the comments section, but I'd appreciate it if you took more time. Please lay out why you think that Mike, in particular, has not redeemed himself in your eyes. On a different note, my most recent poll is based on a video that I did and that I re-uploaded. Here's the question. After watching my video titled, "Was Scientology's Xenu really created by Marvel Comics Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, episode 336B, do you believe L. Ron Hubbard copied the story of Xenu?" If you haven't watched that video, please do check it out. I think you'll find it very interesting. There certainly seems to be some strong evidence that there was some plagiarizing going on, but not everybody believes it. So far, with 41 votes, it's 93% believing that Hubbard happened to plagiarize an obscure story in a semi-obscure title published by what eventually became Marvel Comics. And 7% believe that the name of the creature, which was Xenu, and his backstory and plot in the comic book story was entirely coincidental, even though from what we know of OT3, it has many, many similarities. Be sure to vote in that poll and look for the final results in a subsequent video. As always, I appreciate everyone leaving comments, liking, and subscribing. I really do appreciate it. It may take me a few days, but I always get around to reading all the comments and trying to respond to some degree to them. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.